Hi all, many students have been asking me for my take on some of the controversial questions that have come in VARC in CAT 2024. Particularly in Slot 2, there are two questions where a lot of students believe that the wrong answer has been marked. So one of the questions that a lot of students are asking is that should they file an objection for some of the questions. So I'll tell you that in the two controversial questions, I would recommend filing an objection for one of them, and for the other one, I don't believe any change will occur. I'll tell you which is which. So for example, there is one question which is there on carnivores. So the question is basically we are asked which of the following statements, if false, would be inconsistent with the concerns raised in the passage regarding the drivers of carnivore human conflicts. And the options that are given, there is one which is climate change has negligible effects, predatory attacks by carnivores are common occurrence, carnivores lose their instinctive fear of humans, human efforts to avoid risky behaviors around large carnivores has proven effective. So of the four options, forget the kind of difficult wording is if false would be inconsistent. Just say which of these statements is true, which is false. Basically, we do odd one out. If three statements are true, one is false, then the false one is the correct answer. If there are three statements which are false, one is true, the odd one out is the answer. In this particular sense, you can directly say that the predatory attacks by carnivores are a common occurrence is false. It is given directly in the passage, it's a rare occurrence. So B is false. D also is false. Human efforts to avoid risky behaviors around large carnivores have proven effective in reducing conflicts. In fact, the opposite is given, where it is given that most of the risky behaviors are responsible for these kind of conflicts. So there has not been a reduction in risky encounters as such. So B and D are definitely false. A also is false in the sense that it has not had negligible effect. Climate change has had some effect. We can't call it negligible. So A, B and D are false. On the other hand, option C can be inferred to be true. We know that when carnivores are habituated to finding human food, if they attack human campsites, they tend to lose the instinctive fear of humans. So C is something that can be inferred to be true. A, B, D are false. So C should be the right answer. I believe a genuine error has taken place over here where the answer key, the wrong answer was marked over here. I do not think that the question is wrong, but the answer key is definitely wrong. In this particular case, I would recommend filing an objection form. Krakow itself would also file an objection for this because clearly I believe this is an honest mistake where the wrong answer has been marked, where the answer should be C, because it does not make any logical sense for A to be the answer. Now the other question where there is a lot of controversy is about the allure of spices. The question is that it can be inferred that all of the following contributed to the decline in the allure of spices except. Now let us take a look at the options. The development of refrigeration techniques, the increase in availability of spices, the changes in the system of medical treatment, the changes in European cuisine. If you just take a look at the options, take a look at how are three of the options related and is there one odd one out. So if you go to the paragraph, if you go to passage and the third paragraph as such, three of these are mentioned in one way in the third paragraph. For explaining the reason for the demand of the spices, for the reason behind the allure of the spices, the absence of refrigeration is given as one reason. The medicinal use of spices is given as the second reason. Its prevalence in European culinary traditions is given as the third reason. So three of these are actually connected. The one which is not connected to these particular three options is the one which is the supply of spices. The availability of spices is not connected to these three. So if I just did odd one out, which is the odd one out? The odd one out is the supply of spices. The reasoning behind this is that the three options which are incorrect relate to the demand of the spice. The one option which is correct relates to the supply of the spice. And we are asked which of these would not explain the demand of the spice as such. Now a lot of people would say that okay, this doesn't make sense, and I am with you because I would say that this is a nonsensical question. This is not a good question. In fact, there were these kind of questions in slot 1 and slot 3 as well. For example, in slot 3 there was a question where we were asked a hypothetical scenario that which of the following things were done probably in South America or Central America which were not done in North America as such. Now these are nonsensical questions, they are not sensible questions. Now this is like asking that if the sky is green, what is the color of grass? Now it doesn't make any sense, it is logically indefensible, but in their own twisted way there is a correct answer and there is an incorrect answer. This question, while it is not a good question, I would say it's a bad question, is not a wrong question, in the sense that you cannot argue against the key. You will not get, I do not expect this particular answer to be changed. It's a bad question. There were bad questions in slot 1 and slot 3 as well, but I don't expect the exam convener to change this particular key. So this is my take on the two controversial questions in slot 2. I expect the answer for carnivores to be changed, and I would recommend people filing objection for that. I do not expect the answer key for allure of spices to be changed. It's a bad question, but the answer is as sensible as it can possibly get. In a nonsensical question, you have the sensible answer. So this is basically my take on this situation.